I have ranked many things, especially in Project Zomboid over the last couple of months, but I have not done a single list for Kenshi. One of my favorite games ever, and a game that I've spent a million hours playing. About a million, give or take one or two. In any case, today we are ranking all the Kenshi melee weapons. This is of course from vanilla, and we're not using any new weapon dissemination mods or anything like that here. We're looking at vanilla, so let's start right in. Now, of course, one important thing we're looking at over here is not only the damage it does, the reach it has, the how rare it is, all that stuff. No, we're also, very important, looking at the coolness meter. How cool a weapon is. Alright, keep that in mind. So, first we have the blunt weapons, then we have the hackers, then we have some heavy weapons, katanas, polearms, and in the end, sabers. As you can see, I'm not including range weapons over here. This is melee weapons, and I'm also not including martial arts because we all know that stuff is broken. Martial arts is absolutely broken. It's gonna do 100 million more damage than any other melee weapon when it's, on the same level. So, there you go. Now we know. Let us begin first with blunt weapons. So, we're gonna start in with some jits. Just a normal jit. I like jits. If I have to pick a blunt weapon, I will go with jit. Possibly, just the basic one, the small one. This bad boy gives you +8 defense. Because it's a short one, it also has +4 indoor bonus. So if you're fighting with this bad boy indoors, you have +12 defense. Very good defensive weapon. It is also pretty light, at least the lightest out of all the blunt weapons. So you can easily use it even at the lower starter levels of your strength. So for me, Jit is an A. Now heavy Jit, it's heavy. It does have the same +8 defense, but it loses the indoors bonus. In fact, it has -2 indoors because it's longer, all that stuff. It does have much longer reach than normal Jit, but you can't really use it that early on because it's much heavier and all that stuff. So because of all of that, and because I really do like the small Jits, this one goes into B. It will be ranked a bit below. You would think, hey, heavy Jit is an upgrade over a normal Jit. In some circumstances, yes. But what I'm looking over here, no. It's slightly below. Then we go on the other spectrum of stuff, and we have the Iron Stick. Okay, Iron Stick has -2 to attack and defense. It does have a bit of indoors bonus, but this is really not a weapon you should ever use, unless it's like the first starting weapon you start with and you haven't found anything else. In that case, even martial arts might be better than that. Anyway, Iron Stick goes down below into the F tier. Just the way it is. I'm sorry, it's how it is. Iron Club, it's its friend. It doesn't get the -2 malices, but it still has the +2 bonus. But it's also, like, these two are heavy. For early characters, these are heavy. You're not gonna be wielding these with any ease. So this also goes into F tier. Should stay there. We should forget about these and not use them at all because they're not very useful. Then we go to the Mercenary Club. You might see a lot of slavers and such using these because they are blunt, you can knock people out with these. That's good. They do have also +30% armor penetration, which is actually really, really decent. But these things are heavy. So even like lower grade weapons, they're gonna be heavy. You find a good grade of this one, like, oh nice, we have a good blunt weapon. No. It's very heavy. If you don't have enough strength and all that stuff, it's gonna be very hard to wield it. So I don't think this is really any good. The only saving grace of this bad boy is the armor penetration, but that's not good enough. So it goes into D. Next, we have a Spike Club. Now the Spike Club, actually, it's also very heavy, like a Mercenary Club, but it does have a very good bleed effect, which is its saving grace plus the 30% armor penetration. Of course, if you're trying to just knock out people and capture them, then maybe just the normal Mercenary Club might be better because you're not gonna bleed them out. But in most cases, you're fighting them to defeat them, and the good bleed ratio does a bit better for this one, but it's not gonna bring it above C because it's too heavy, so not very useful. And that concludes our blunt weapons, which actually, really nicely set up over here. Anyway, let's go onwards to glory and let's take a look at the hackers. So first we have a combat cleaver. So this bad boy doesn't have any pluses and maluses and all that stuff. It does have a decent bonus versus robots, which is something that most hackers have. They all have 30 armor penetration, 30% armor penetration, just like we've seen with the Mercenary Club and the Spy Club. And they all have bonuses versus robots, but they're kind of different. And they have maluses versus animals. Now this combat cleaver is nothing special. It's really a very average weapon. Doesn't do anything special. Sure, it does have a decent bonus versus robots, but if you look at how many races out there that have robotic enemies, you know, you're not gonna see that as many people as you can see humans or, you know, animals that these things don't have any bonuses to. So it's still better than Mercenary Club, but I think it should be in down below in D. Next we have Flash Cleaver. Flash Cleaver I will actually rate a bit higher because it is the only hacker that actually has a bonus versus humans, and that's 20% bonus over there, which is actually pretty cool. It does have -2 to defense, and it has the lowest out of all the hackers bonuses for robots. It's nothing special, but that plus 20% against humans makes it at least go into C tier. You know, that thing it's its saving grace. Anyway, onwards we go to a Long Cleaver. Long Cleaver is a special one in that regard that it has the same reach as a Falling Sun, which is a heavy weapon, so it's actually a long weapon. Otherwise, it's not too amazing, you know, the reach itself saves it. It does have -2 defense, it does have like -4 indoors bonus because it's a long weapon, of course. It deals decent damage. It's actually pretty good at damage, and it does have decent bleed. I'll put it in B out here with the heavy Jeet, and it's just there. Next we have the Moon Cleaver. The Moon Cleaver doesn't have too much going for it. It does have very decent damage, like on the higher part of the hackers. It does have -2 defense, but it's like it's only malice. Of course, it deals bonus damage to robots and all that stuff. But it has the coolness factor. This is an extremely cool weapon. It looks cool. It feels amazing to use it. So that pushes it up, and it goes into A tier. You know what? Above a Jet. Up there. It's a really cool weapon. If you see it, you want to use it because it's cool. It's decently heavy though, so that might be a bit of a problem. Next on the list is Paladin's Cross. Now, Paladin's Cross, we all know that the Holy Nation uses. We all hate the Holy Nation, you know, that's the cool thing to do. But it is actually a really good weapon against robots. It has the highest bonus against robots, like 50%, I believe. It does have +2 defense. It's got great reach. I think still a bit shorter than Long Cleaver, but great reach. It is pretty freaking decent. It doesn't have that coolness factor, right? But it's probably more damage than Moon Cleaver and a bit more reach, I think, as well. And that bonus versus robots, if you're gonna fight some Scally Bros down in the Ashlands, you want to bring some Paladin's Crosses. Great weapon. It's gonna go into A tier. Last on the list of the hackers is the Short Cleaver. Short Cleaver is a very heavy weapon for just one-hander. So it's very heavy for one-hander. You don't really want to use it as a secondary weapon because it's just heavy unless your boys are all pretty strong. It does have pretty decent bleed, but it also has the lowest armor penetration of all of these boys. It's really nothing special for one-hander weapon. There's so many better options out there. So I think this one goes out there into D tier. Worse, I think, in my opinion, it's worse than Comet Cleaver. All right, next on the list, we have the Falling Sun. The Falling Sun has all kinds of amazing things going for it. It's got great cutting damage, like far greater than any of the other heavy weapons cutting damage. So you don't need as much strength as for the other ones to really effectively wield it, because it doesn't have as much blunt damage, but it has a lot more cutting damage, so you want dexterity for it as well. It is the lightest of the heavy weapons, so if you want to train heavy weapons and you got a recipe, you can craft some crappy ones and use them as training, so you'll be doing that instead of having to have like 80 strength to train with some planks or fragment axes. So this is another great thing. It's got a very good reach. It's not crazy reach. It's not as far as the fragment axe or plank, but it's got great. It does have -4 indoors bonus, just the same as the other, or malices would say, other heavy weapons. It also has a bonuses versus big things, gorillas, leviathans. You know, if you want to go hunt some heavy things, and we all like to hunt big things, don't we all? Anyway, Falling Sun also has the coolness factor. It is, in my opinion, the best heavy weapon. It's amazing, and it deserves to be in the S tier up there. Now, next we have the Fragment Axe. You know, people might be, oh, look at the Fragment Axe. It deals so much damage. It has so much damage. Yes, but it's also the heaviest weapon out there. It's sure it has the best reach, but it's the heaviest. It does have great blunt damage. The thing is, when you get to the point to be able to effectively use a very good Fragment Axe, you're already destroyed most of the game, right? So we're talking about vanilla game over here, not some crazy modded stuff. So Fragment Axe, in that regard, I think it's like it's just not worth it. It's not worth spending time on it, and in my opinion, it goes down here into the D tier, and it's really not that great. Now, Plank, on the other hand, doesn't have any coolness factor, but it's of course lighter. It's somewhere in the middle of the pack. It almost has the same reach as the Fragment Axe, so it has definitely a great reach, which works for it as well. It's also lighter, so you'll be able to use it sooner. It's a decent one. It's not a Falling Sun grade of weapon, in my opinion. So Plank goes out here into C tier. Alright, let's go onwards to glory to katanas. We all love katanas. Who doesn't like katanas? So first things first, we have the beautiful traditional katana, normal stuff. It does have pretty decent bleed rate. It does have decent reach for one-handed weapon. It does have a +4 attack, -4 defense. So it's of course more of an offensive weapon. It does have the +10% damage versus humans, which we all like, because humans are, surprise, surprise, the most common thing in the world that you will be fighting for most of the game, because every bandit basically is a human, especially if you're talking vanilla game, you know, without any crazy mods. They do have malices against robots, but again, most enemies out there are humans. Now, the major thing that goes against it is the -30% armor penetration. So they're not very good versus armored people. But again, a lot of enemies you're gonna be fighting, like bandits and such, they don't have great armor. So you don't really need to worry about that too much. Katana for me is A tier. It's above Jit. It's out here. It's pretty decent. Now, Guardless Katana, it's more of a all-in YOLO thing, because Guardless Katana does have slightly better bleed than Katana. It does have the +6 attack and -6 defense. So this is where the pluses and malices just start going too far into its direction. So -6 is a bit of a problem. It's a decent weapon for sure. Of course, the armor penetration doesn't help that much, but I would always prefer to use a normal Katana or a Guardless Katana. So I'll put this one into B tier. Still a great weapon, you know, deals extra damage versus humans and all that stuff, but that -6, it's starting to hurt it over there, even though you have +6 to attack. Anyway, onwards to glory. Then next we have Ninja Blades. Ninja Blades are extremely cheap to make. You can make them easily early on. You know, you can use them as training blades. All that stuff is great. They do have worse damage and bleed rate than both Katana and Guardless Katana, so they're not as good. They have a +2 attack and -4 defense, so that's just a worse version of the Katana, the normal one. They do have less of an armor penalty. I think they have like 20%, but they're such a common thing. You can just toss them on people as like a secondary weapon, and they're fine. They're really like in the middle of the pack blade that is just, you know, you're gonna find it anywhere else. So C is where it's gonna go. Now, Wakizashi. Wakizashi actually does have better damage and bleed rate than the Ninja Blade. It's better in that regard. It is shorter. It has the shorter reach. It does have the same +2 attack bonus, but it does have less of a malice for a defense, only -2, and it does get +4 indoors, which is great. It does have a lower armor penetration as well. So, you know, there is that. So let's drop Wakizashi out here. Maybe it's gonna go into B, but it's worse than Guardless Katana. So somewhere over here in the middle, it seems like a good idea. Next, we're gonna go towards Nadachi. Kind of have to speed this up, you know? We don't want to really take too long. Nadachi! It is the heaviest of the katanas, but it has the longest reach, pretty much the same as a long cleaver and falling sun and all these. So it's great. It does have a great cutting damage. You know, all the katanas have great cutting damage. They do have a decent bleed rate. It does have +4 and -4, you know, attack and defense. It does have -4 for indoors because, you know, it's a long blade, but that's fine. I think Nodachis are great. They're amazing. They're just an upgrade to normal katana. And they deserve to be in the S tier. Like, great weapon all around, I think. It's awesome. Alright, and we're gonna finish the katanas with a topper. Topper feels to me like a worse version of a Nodachi. It doesn't have as much cutting damage. It has a bit more blunt. It has lower bleed rate. It does have the indoors malice. It does have good attack bonus, so it's got that going for it, you know, which is decent. It's also a bit lighter than Nodachi, but it's still... it's not that good. Wait, it's -4 indoors, not -6, -4 indoors. So Topper, we're gonna throw Topper. Topper can go into like a C tier, but it's definitely better, in my opinion, than most of these, so C tier is gonna be fine. Alright, now we switch to polearms. Polearms are one of my favorite weapons. I really do like polearms. I think they're great, especially because of their great reach and all that stuff. And if you're using any of the mods that change the weapon moves, they become even stronger because they're great. So, first things first, let's start with the basic polearm. It's got the best reach of them all, surprisingly. It does have a decent bleed rate. I think they all most have the same-ish bleed rate. Slightly worse than katanas, but, you know, better than a lot of other stuff. They do have bonuses to attack, most of them. So this one is, polearm is +6 attack, but it does have a bit of indoors malice because it's a long weapon. So for these ones, you know, very often you see like samurai using polearms, because samurai armor gives you like big malices to attack. So with these ones, you kind of fix these, you know, if you use pole armor, so that's always great. It does have a decent armor penetration, +30%, and deals extra damage versus animals, because we all know that pole armors are good versus animals. It's not the best amongst the pole armors. It's a very decent weapon. I would put it up here in a very solid B position. I think it's great there. Next on the list, we have the heavy pole arm, which I think, surprisingly, it's actually lighter than the normal polearm, if I remember correctly. Some weird shenanigans over there. Maybe I'm lying to you. Who knows? Anyway, this one has +4 attack. It does have -4 indoors, so it has the smaller malice for the indoor bonus, but it also has a lesser of a bonus for attack than the normal one. Same armor penetration, deals a bit more, or maybe the same damage against animals. Anyway, it's out there. It's also in a B slot, but a bit worse, I think, than normal polearm. Let's just put it out here. I think that's decent if you do it this way. Next, we go to Naginata. Naginata, I like. I think it has the biggest bonus damage versus animals. So this one, you'll see some hivers use it against big things and all that stuff. Does have +6 attack. Does have the -8 indoor malice. So basically the same as normal polearm. Great damage versus animals. So if you're really gonna go out there to slay animals, this was gonna be your weapon of choice. I'm gonna put it actually in A tier. Not the best A tier, but out here somewhere, I think it's gonna be decent. Next on the list, we have the Naginata Katana, which is kind of a longer blade version of the Naginata. I really like this blade. It does have the best damage, I think, out of all polearms. It does have +4 attack, so not that big of a bonus there. And it does have the -4 indoors malice, of course, as it goes. It doesn't have that good of an armor penetration, but it does have +25%, not only for animals, but also humans. And what did we say? Most enemies out there are humans. So if you just roam around starting early, Naginata Katana is going to be great because you're going to be fighting animals and humans. You're going to get bonus against all of those. Armor penetration doesn't hurt that much because, you know, early bandits don't usually have that much armor. It does lose some damage against robots, but, you know, you're not going to be fighting that many robots. This is a very, very solid A tier pick. I'm gonna put it like over here somewhere, I think. I think this is pretty decent. And the last on the list, staff. You'd say, hey, Coco, staff sucks, doesn't do any damage, all that stuff. It's bad. You see, I always thought it sucks kinda as well, but it's really great starting weapon because it has +8 attack. So if you go like one-on-one fighting stuff out there, you'll get that crazy bonus. It does have -6 indoors malice, but you know, if you're fighting bandits out there, you don't really care about that. It's very light, well, not extremely very light, but decently light, so you can use it early on with quite the ease. It does have the lots of blunt damage. You kind of have to look into that if, you know, maybe you do need a bit higher strength. It is low on bleed, but it has a big bonus to it being like very usable. You know, you can block a lot of attack. Even though it has like +8 attack bonus, it really works well on defense, like we've seen in the last Kenshi tournament when a lady with just a staff just destroyed people. It was great to see. So staff, I will actually put out here into B tier. Not the best B tier, but it's actually very decent. And last, but of course not the least, we have the sabers. Some pretty cool options out here. Gotta speed up, don't wanna drag this video for too long, so let's start with the Desert Saber, one of the coolest weapons out there. It has a very decent reach, actually, for it being a saber. It's got good cut damage, so it's great in that. It does have decent bleed, it has +2 defense. It does have bonuses against spiders and skimmers, and I think also some bone dogs. It's got all kinds of good stuff going out for it. It has the coolness factor as well. The Desert Saber, we're gonna drop you out here into the A tier. Really solid weapon there. Next we go to a foreign saber, which, yes, I am a bit biased here. It's one of my favorite weapons out there. It's really great. It has awesome cut damage. It has decent bleed rate. It does have -4 attack, which hurts it a bit, but it has +8 defense. It's great defensive weapon. It's got decent reach as well. It has that coolness factor. So foreign saber goes into the S tier. It joins the Falling Sun and Odachi out there as one of the best weapons. If you can get any of these, use them. They're great for your defensive voice. So, you know, enjoy that. Next, we go on Horse Chopper, one of the most common weapons out there. Everybody and their mother is using it early on when you're going to be fighting bandits. Everybody's using it. It doesn't really do that much damage. It's got -4 attack. It does have that +4 defense, which is okay for it, but it's really not something you should be too happy about. It's out here in the D tier, and nothing special, but of course for early game you can use that. Now Hold Saber is just a slightly better version of the Horse Chopper. Basically almost no difference, but it does have +6 defense instead of +4. So it's a bit better. We can put it into like a C tier out here. It doesn't really do anything too special. Just like a Horse Chopper doesn't, it's just a bit better, a bit more rare. So there you go. Ringed Saber, on the other hand, it has better damage. It does have better damage. I think it has like the best damage among the sabers. It only has -2 attack malice instead of -4. It does have +4 defense, so that is the same as the Horse Chopper, but it's better. It deals more damage. It's decent. You don't get penalized as much. So this one, when it comes to sabers, is better, but it's not like higher than like a B tier. So we can put this one to B tier, and I'm gonna put it like down here somewhere. Maybe it's better than a staff or something like that. We can put it out here in the B. And that leaves us with the last but not the least, longsword. I really like longswords. They're not too heavy. They're in fact the lightest of the sabers, and they have that very important +2 defense. I love putting these onto my ranged characters because, you know, if they have to switch to a melee, they have that +2 defense right away, so they can defend themselves until somebody else relieves them, and they can go back to being ranged people. I really like that. They do have a bit of a malice to animals and robots. I believe back in the day they had a bonus versus humans, but I don't think that exists anymore, so there's that. I kind of like them. I really kind of like them. This is my B tier. Longsword is B tier for me, so I'm gonna put it up here. I prefer it over a Wakizashi maybe. Wakizashis are great for going out and training dexterity with a shitty weapon. But long swords, I would use them more than that. So there we go. There's your list. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm sure you completely disagree with many choices. Let me know down in the comments below what you do think. Also, I have many other ranked stuff, and we started a new Kenshi series that we are streaming on Mondays and Fridays. So there's gonna be links up there, over there, and down in the description. Check it out, and I'll see you next time.